morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
So, Swastik, how was Bellary?
Sir, experience-wise, it was good, sir. Like we had a factory visit and all, but it was very hot, sir. Like couldn't stay for a while, sir, outside.
I told you, no? Bellary is supposed to be the hottest. Even in the normal temperatures, it's very hot. And whatever the temperature is, you have to add +2 or +3 to that. You have that much amount of heat.
Yes, sir. It was 36, 37 on an average all the 4 days. 36, 37.
And it is entire rocky terrain. No? It is all mountains and rocks are there. So because of that, the heat that is generated is more than the normal. You are back in Bangalore, or you are still in Bellary?
Sir, I came back, sir, at 7 o'clock. I came back to hostel. I reached Bangalore.
Satvika is enjoying in Bangalore. Satvika, no external audits for you? No outstation audits? No. Case 3 is left in the second chapter. Let us complete that. Case study 3. ABC Road Carriers is a transporting company that transports goods from one place to another. Again, it is a service-oriented organization. It measures quality of service in terms of time required to transport the goods, on-time delivery, number of lost or damaged cartons or boxes. To improve its business prospects and performance, the company is seriously considering to install a scheduling and tracking system, which involves an annual outlay of 1,25,000. So I can say here 1,25,000 is the capital expenditure. Okay, involves an annual capital expenditure. So it's a you can say no, it's not an annual capital expenditure. Install a scheduling and tracking system, which involves an annual outlay of 1,25,000. So it is a revenue expenditure. 1,25,000 will be an annual expenditure, revenue expenditure. Company furnishes the following information about its present and anticipated future performance. On-time delivery, current it is 85%, and after you install that tracking system, it will be 95%. Variable cost per carton lost or damaged, 55, it is not going to change. Fixed cost is given to you per carton lost or damaged, that is also not going to change, 45 rupees. Number of cartons damaged or lost. As of now, it is 2,500, it is going to reduce to 1,200. The company expects that each half% point, now this is a little bit complicated, a half% point increase in on-time performance will result in revenue increase of 9,000 per annum. Contribution margin of 45% is required. Contribution is 45%. That means variable cost is 55%. Variable cost is 55%. Should ABC Road Carriers acquire and install the new system? Also calculate additional amount of revenue required if benefits from the new system is equal to cost and contribution margin is 47.5%. It is actually equal to cost, comma, and the contribution margin is 47.5%. So as of now, the contribution margin is 45%. And if it is going to be 47.5%, then additional amount of revenue required to cover that. So let us start with the first thing, calculations. Calculations now, how we are going to do. Additional revenue that is going to be earned by the installation of this new system is going to be 9,000 per annum. And 9,000 per annum, and it is going to be for every half percentage point increase in on-time performance. 85% is as of now on-time delivery. It is going to increase to 95%. So it is going to increase by 10%. Okay. But for every half percentage point, that is 0.5 percentage, 0.5 percentage increase in on-time performance, there will be additional revenue of 9,000. So tell me, what will be the total additional revenue or increase in revenue that is going to take place? Yes, Satvika, tell me, what is the additional revenue or the increase in revenue that is going to take place? Because 9,000 increase, it is per 0.5% and increase, and it is going to be an increase of 10%. So how much will it increase? What will be the total increase in revenue? Difficult calculation, huh? Very difficult calculation. Akhilesh, tell me.
1,80,000.
1,80,000. Very simple calculation. क्या करने का है? 1% increase if it is there. This 1% is going to have 0.5, 0.5 makes 1%. So in every 1% there are 2.5 increase. So if it is increasing by 10%, that means 0.5, 0.5, 2 times in 1%. So in 10%, 2 into 10, that is 20%. It is like saying 20 times more, 20 times more. 9,000 per time. 20 times more, 9,000 into 20. Or if you don't understand that calculation, it is 9,000. Increased by 10%. So 10, but each 10% to be divided into 0.5%. So divided by 0.5. Get the same answer. 10 divided by 0.5 is 20. So 9,000 into 20. So in every percent, there are 2.5%. Correct? Every percent, there are 2.5%. In 10%, therefore, there will be 20.5%. So it will be 9,000 into 20. So additional revenue that is going to be generated is 1,80,000, 9,000 into 20, 1,80,000. Contribution margin is 45% of 1,80,000. That is additional contribution, increase in contribution. Okay. So increase in contribution will be there. Then we will have to see how much of cost is going to be saved. Okay. So let us calculate those things first. Right here. This is your case study number 3. Additional revenue additional revenue from improvement in on-time performance. On-time performance. Is 9,000 per annum. Rupees 9,000 per annum. From every half percentage. From every half percentage point. From every half percentage point. Okay. Now, so now to calculate the total amount of increase. Below that, right? Next line. Now, it is stated that on-time performance is going to increase. On-time performance is going to increase from 85% to 95%. That is by 10%. Therefore, additional revenue is equal to 9,000 into 10 divided by 0.5. That is equal to 1,80,000. Contribution margin is equal to 45% of 1,80,000. That will be 81,000. Minus from that, sorry, there will be cost savings now. To add to that, cost savings. Why? Because your number of cartons damaged is going to reduce. Cost savings in respect of cartons. In respect of cartons. Let us check what is the difference that is going to arise. It is 2,500 as of now. It is going to reduce to 1,200. So 2,500 minus 1,200, it will be 1,300 less. 1,300 less. And what is the cost of the cartons? Variable cost of cartons damage 55 rupees. That is not going to change. So 1,300 into 55 I will do. 1,300 into 55. That comes to 71,500. Savings in cartons, damage and loss. Okay. Savings in cartons, damage and loss. That is going to be 71,500. So add to that. Can show the working here. Initially it was 2,500. Then it is 1,200. Multiply this by 55. Cost per carton. 71,500. 71,500. So total benefit will be 152,500. Total benefits 152,500. This is done on a yearly basis, per annum basis, because all these figures are per annum basis. 9,000 also it was per annum. So this is also per annum. 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 Next line, right? Therefore, expected benefits equal to 1,52,500. On installation of new tracking system, on installation of new tracking system, what is the additional cost? It is 1,25,000 per annum. Installation of new tracking system, additional cost is rupees 1,25,000. Cost is more or benefit is more? Benefit is more. Okay. So since benefits are more, it is advisable to install the new tracking system. So right here, since expected benefits are more than the costs, the company should install the new system. Company should install the new system. Okay. Now let us see what is the second part of the question. Second part of the question. They're saying that calculate additional amount of revenue required if the benefits from the new system is equal to cost. Benefits is equal to cost. What is the cost? 1,25,000. So instead of getting a benefit of 1,52,500, if I get a benefit of 1,25,000, then what should be the revenue? So it is like working backwards. First, what did we do? We calculated increase in contribution. That increase in contribution as of now was 81,500. Then we said the savings in cost. Okay. Savings in cost, we said 71,500. So we said 152,500. Now what they are saying, and this contribution was 45% of revenue. Now what they are saying is, if this is 1,25,000, I'll change the ink over here so that you understand the difference. They're saying that if this is 125, how much revenue should be generated? So I say, okay, this is 125. Savings and cost will be that same, 71,500. So we added these two to get this figure. Now when we are going in the reverse order, we'll subtract. Correct? When we are going in the reverse order, we'll subtract. So 125 minus 71,500, how much will I get? 53,500. What is this 53,500 contribution? Correct? But that contribution should be equal to 47.5% of revenue. Earlier it was 45% of revenue. Now it is 47.5% of revenue. Which means that this 53,500 is equal to 47.5% of revenue. So 100% how much? Calculation. Cross multiply. Okay. So 53,500 divided by 47.5%. Okay. That will give me something like 1,12,600 something. 32. but they are working backwards. So given the benefit, savings and cost is going to remain the same. So given the benefit, savings and cost is going to be 71,500. So 125 minus 71,500 is contribution, 53,500. So contribution at 53,500 should be equivalent to 47%, 47.5% of revenue. So divide that 53,500 by 47.5%. You get the amount of revenue. So revenue should be 1,12,630. Revenue should be 1,12,630. Instead of 1,80,000, it should be 1,12,630. Followed? Any difficulty here? Anyone who has not understood this calculation? It is, I've taken it in a very simple manner. I just prepared. This was originally prepared by you. So I've gone in the reverse order. This is given to me. Instead of 150 to 500, I want 125. 71,500 will come down as it is. Going in the reverse order, all add will become minus, or minus will become add. So we added these two things. So we are going in the reverse order. We subtract. When we subtract, we get contribution as 53,500. This 53,500 is equal to 47.5%. So 100% how much? 100% is your revenue. Okay, so let's do it. So write down calculation of additional revenue. Calculation of additional revenue. Expected benefits, right, like this. Expected benefits equal to cost equal to 1,20,000 minus savings in cost. Cost, you can say cost of cartons. Savings in cost of cartons. 71,500. 71,500. So contribution is equal to 53,500. Below that, right? If desired contribution is 47.5% of revenue, then revenue is equal to 53,500 divided by 47.5%. That is equal to 1,12,632. Okay, it's clear. So all three case studies have been done. One very important part is left. Theory question, but nevertheless, it's one of the most important thing of your chapter, you can say. Total quality management. Now, this total quality management, why it is very important? Because case studies can be asked based on this. Theoretical questions can be asked based on this. So, from the point of view of case studies, from the point of view of, in fact, we have done, last lecture we have done this before improvement, before quality management improves. What happens after the quality management improvement? What happens? Okay, the changes that took place. That was actually a part of your total quality management. But now let us try to understand what is this concept of total quality management and why it is important, what is to be done, which is not there in the book, because book will give us some technical definitions which student may not be able to understand. So how to break up this is very important. So what I do is as usual, this is when we started with strategic cost management, I said that strategic cost management is made up of 3 different words. So we explained what is the concept of strategy, what is the concept of cost, what is the strategy, what is the concept of management, right? So like that, we are going to divide this into 3 parts. That is total, concept of total, concept of quality, concept of management. And then we put it together and see how the definition comes. Because definition may be asked in the examination. But how to remember the definition? By hearting is one option. That will mug up the definition without understanding what it is all about. And understanding the definition, when automatically, when you understand the definition, you will be able to produce a definition without difficulty. So let us go for the easier option, that is understanding the definition first. Then we will see what is the actual definition, and we put all those 3 words together. Okay. So I'll start with the concept of total quality management. Attention. What we are doing is called as total quality management. In short, it's called as PQM. But now I'm going to divide this into 3 separate individual words: total separate, quality separate, management separate. So let us start with this word total. What is there in this word total? What we have to understand. Why it is not simply quality management? Why it is total quality management? So that we will understand now. So what is the meaning of total? One definition, or you can say one concept of total, or one meaning of total, one interpretation of total. Total means, I'm going to explain it in 3 different ways, or in 3 different perspectives. 3 different perspectives. When I say total quality management, total means what? Total means entire organization. Okay, entire organization is what? From directors at the top, or the executives at the top, to the peons and the staff at the bottom. Directors at the top to the last working person in the organization. You may call him as a staff, you may call him as a peon. That person may be a sweeper who comes to clean your office, who provides tea and coffee to you, who provides cleanliness. You can call that person to clean your table, to clean your office space. That person. Topmost person to the bottommost person. Entire organization. Entire organization. Total means entire organization. Okay. It also means something else. This is one meaning. This is one interpretation. It also means something else. What else? What can we think about as total? It is total supply chain. Total supply chain. And we have seen supply chain, value chain means what? Supply chain, value chain means right from the supplier, from the creditor, from the supplier who's providing us raw materials necessary for our production, from that person to my organization. That is supplier, the logistics involved, the transportation involved, the carriage involved, the workers involved, loading, unloading, all those people, entire logistics, plus receiving the goods at my place, at my factory, processing those raw materials, converting those raw materials into finished products, that entire thing, plus distribution of the finished goods. Again, logistics, transportation of goods with the help of trucks, tempos, railway carriages, okay, to different godowns of the company, warehouses of the company, or to different wholesalers, from the wholesalers to the retailers, and from the retailers to the final customer. Entire supply chain. So when I say total, it means total supply chain. When I say total, it means total management. So total management, top to bottom. First person in the organization, chairman, directors of the company, board of directors, to the last person working in the organization, the peon, staff, the person who comes to clean your place, sweeper, whatsoever. That last person. Your watchman at the gate, top to bottom. Supply chain, right from supplier up to the final customer. Okay, that is the entire supply chain. What else? Totality. What else? Totality. Total product life cycle. We are going to do this in detail. Okay. Now, for the purpose of understanding, product life cycle. PLC. Which means the stage of starting the product, initial stage as we call it. Planning is done for the product. R&D is done for the product. Okay. Planning is done, R&D is done. Initial stage, you are just manufacturing the product for the first time, launching the product in the market. From that stage, till the last stage of the product, that is what we call as the maturity phase. So initial phase up to maturity phase, there are different cycles or different stages of production or different stages of the life cycle of the product. So initial phase means launching phase. You are introducing the product into the market for the first time. From that day, till the product is sold, it reaches its peak, it gets maximum revenue for you. That is your most popular product. It gets maximum revenue for you, captures the entire market. Everything is done, and then there is a decline. Everything that goes up has to come down. Newton's law of gravity. Right? Everything that goes up has to come down. That is Newton's law of gravity. So here also product will reach its peak, give the maximum revenue, and then the decline starts. You must have learned in economics law of diminishing marginal utility, right? LDME, law of diminishing marginal utility, goes to the top, reaches a maximum, and then it starts curving downwards, decline this. So the entire life cycle, right from the inception or the initial stage, right up to the last stage when the product is finally outdated, it's not accepted in the market, and you throw it out and you launch a new product. Product life cycle can be a life cycle of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or just 6 months also. Technological products, 6 months, maximum 6 months, 1 year, not beyond that. There are mobiles, laptops, computers, electronic gadgets, base stations. 6 months to 1 year, maximum. That is a life cycle, right? Beyond that, you cannot extend the product. Beyond that, you have to do something different. Either relaunch the product or come out with a new product. Correct. Example, washing powder, surf is there, Ariel is there. It has been there for years. You think it has not gone off the shelf? Many times it has gone off the shelf and it has come back in a new form. Ariel, they will tell you, the last old Ariel is only for ordinary clothes. You have only the blue particles in that. Now we are having colored particles in Ariel. That colored particle, that red and green and all those colored particles are for special wash. Your office clothes, you can wash with this, it will give you a brighter, sense. They will advertise, they will market the product, but they have to relaunch. Because the old Ariel with only the blue particles or white particles has gone out of it. Is off the shelf. Life is over. So every product will have a shelf life. So right from the inception of the product, the introduction of the product, up to the death of the product, that entire life cycle. So when I say total quality management, total means what? Total means total organization, total supply chain, and total product life cycle. Okay. Let us go to the second concept. Second concept is quality. And we have to understand this quality because it's going to be the main focal point of our discussion. Okay, so Swastik, tell me, when will you say, simple question, practical day-to-day life question, when will you say that a product is a quality product? What will you look at the product at? I mean, what are the features that you're looking at the product that will make you say, okay, it is a fantastic movie, it is a quality movie, it's a good quality movie. Or you are buying a product, let us say you are buying a handset, mobile handset. Say, okay, this particular product is a quality product. What is
So we will see the
quality to your
features of the product. Maybe the
Sir?
features of the product, features of the product,
features of
and the utility what that product gives us. Like uh, let's say in the case of mobile phones, uh, till what year we can use it, and how fast the mobile is. All these factors affecting the performance of the product, you can measure it through quality.
Okay. Can it be possible that you say it is a quality product, but Satvika says no, it's not a quality product? Is it possible that one product you are saying it is a quality product and your sister is saying no, it is not a quality product? Is it possible?
Yes, sir, it might be.
So what is the reason for that? You say that it is good quality because its features are good, its performance is good, its utility is there.
Maybe value for the money also will be the factor. Sir. Like for me, for 20,000, I use only 10,000 rupees phone. Means if I get a 20,000 phone, it is a good quality. And if my sister is using iPhone and I ask her to use 20,000 phone, means that quality might not be good. So that value for money may be the important factor.
Correct. So it is going to be different from person to person. Let us say a movie is released as years come out. They may be interviewed by the media. How was the movie? So some people will say, very fantastic. It is a fantastic movie, well-made movie, good direction, good acting. Another person may say, okay, it is also movie. The direction was not that good. The film stars or not, the actors are not performing that well. The best is not there. Difference in quality. Why? Because each person has a perception. Each person has a perception of quality. But what is quality for them? So what is quality for you may not be quality for me. What is quality for me may not be a quality for you. What is value for money for me may not be the same as value of money for you. So in general, how do I define this concept of quality? So products which are as per specification. As per specification. Or expectation. Or beyond or more than expectations. More than expectations. Products which are as per specification or expectation or more than expectation. So you are expecting something, which means that you are having a perception of the concept of quality. What is quality for you? So if it is as per your requirements, if it matches your requirements, we'll say it is of good quality. Or if it is more than matching your requirements, you say it is super quality, good quality. But if it is not meeting your expectations, you say it is not of good quality. So something which is as per specification or expectation of the customer or beyond his expectation, more than expectations, that is quality. Right? So quality means products or services. I've written products, but it can be services also. Products or services, which are as per the specification or expectation of the customer or beyond his expectation. Something that is much better than what I expect. That is also quality. Right? Fine. Third one is very simple. That is management. Quality is not over. I'm coming back to quality because I told you quality is a focal point. We are going to discuss in detail what is quality. We are going to analyze in detail what is quality. So for the time being, I just explained to you the concept. We'll come back to it because the topic is total quality management. So quality means what? You have to understand. Okay, management means what? Management is the different functions of management that we perform that we have already studied. Like what? Planning, okay, planning, organizing, okay, planning, organizing, staffing. What is functions you are studying now? Then direction, then control. This is management. Planning of the production of the entire organization. Planning of the entire supply chain. Planning of the entire product life cycle. Management. Direction. Plans and policies which are framed by the top management to be implemented in the entire organization, total organization. Concept of quality. What is quality as per your organization? Because your organization's quality depends upon customer's perspective. So what is the customer's perspective? What are they expecting? So their expectations becomes a quality norm story, which must be there in the entire organization. Direction, control, ethics, all this is a part of management. So whatever, for example, now ethics, whatever ethics are followed by the top management, the same ethics should be followed by the last worker in the organization. The watchman at your door should follow the same ethics. Otherwise, it is not going to work. But PQM is not going to be of any importance. If the directors are having ethics, the watchman at your door should also have ethics. Because if he does not have ethics, then there is no point in the directors having ethics. If the watchman allows any person to enter the organization, watchman allows a person to enter the organization after business hours, it will be a problem for the company. So what is the use of the directors are having ethics if the watchman does not have ethics? So enter order. That is what totality. So it is total quality management. Total quality management. Okay. Now, so let us now come back to the concept of quality. What is quality? That is a core concept. Quality is a measurement of performance. One way of looking at it is quality is a measurement of performance for the organization. because you have to ensure that your product or service is first customer oriented, because quality comes from there. Customer oriented, as per the requirements, as per the specifications of the customer, as per the needs of the customer, as per the expectation of the customer. The quality comes from there. Second, your product or service that you are providing should be of as much less cost as possible. Reduction in cost. Reduction in cost. And third is designing the product as per the requirements. Whether you are successful in that. Designing quality products. Designing and constructing or building quality products. Designing quality services. Not only products, services also. How best a service you can do. Now you are performing audit functions. How best you can serve your client. You are not manufacturing, but how best you can serve your client by giving the best services possible. Right? Best advice, best consultancy. That is service. So quality means what? Quality means either equal to the expectations or beyond expectation. That means first it should be customer oriented, customer focused. Second, it should be manufactured or produced or rendered, if it is a service, then rendered with a minimum cost, reduction in cost. And third, you should be able to build, because it's a measurement of performance. You should be able to build, design a quality product or a quality service. So if I have to put it down, now I suppose you have copied down all this. If I have to put it down in the form of a explanatory chart, I'll say core concept of quality. That means what we are looking for quality. So I can say that it must be first customer oriented, customer oriented. It should be manufactured with a minimum cost. So reduction in cost is also quality without changing the quality or without changing the features. Reduction in cost without affecting quality, without affecting quality. And third is design and build quality products. Design and build quality products. Or services. So you can say measurement of performance. Measurement of performance. So we are going to do a lot of analysis on this. Okay. Let us come back to quality, because we have said design and build a quality product or services. So now I require three things to be done for quality. To get the quality, I require three functions. Can you tell me what are the three functions? Three functions, only three functions. One, I'll give you a hint. One that has got something to do with the past. One that has got something to do with the present. And one that has got something to do with the future. To take care of the future. What are the three things that we are going to do to maintain that quality or to get that quality in the product or the service? Can you tell me? Think. Something that is going to analyze the past, something that we can do in the present, and something that will take care of the future. Three activities or three functions, you can say. Three activities, three functions. Yes, Akhilesh. Three functions.
The past, we have to like whatever the customer wants, we have to plan accordingly. What is we have to produce as per the customer requirement.
So that cannot be past. No? Past means something which has already happened.
Then for the present,
So past means something that has already happened. If you are looking at what is the customer's preference, then that is not the past. That is the first step. But now that step is already over. You are going to analyze that. How do you analyze the past? What is the activity that is going to analyze the past? It is an activity. It is a function.
based on the past. Based on last performance, how we have performed, that we have to analyze.
Okay. So what is the activity that you are going to do to analyze the past? Or what is the function? Can you name the function? Like for example, in management, we are having functions, no? Planning, controlling, directing, and so on. So tell me the function or the activity that you are going to do for analyzing the past.
I'm not sure, sir.
Yes, Swastik, any idea?
No, sir. That exact word I cannot.
Yes,
Yeah.
Satyaka.
Is it the evaluation?
Is it the
Evaluation.
evaluation? No. Yes, Satyaka. Activities that are required for analyzing the past, doing something in the present, and taking care of future.
No, sir.
Okay, I'll give you the function names also. Satvika, tell me. The first one is called as QC. The second one is called as QA. The third one is called as QM. Yes, Satvika, tell me now. Full form. QC, QA, QM.
Uh,
Yes, Satvika.
Sir, whether it is quality control, quality assurance, and quality management.
Quality control, quality
Assurance,
assurance, and
quality management.
correct. It is quality control, quality assurance, and quality management. These are the three functions or three activities that need to be performed to ensure quality products or services. Quality control, why do I say it is of the past? Because I'm controlling after the production is over. Quality control is going to happen after the production is over. I'm going to find out how many defectives are there. What is the reason for the defective? I'm analyzing the past. After the products are manufactured, I'm doing a post-mortem, historical thing. So activity has already happened. Production has already taken place. I'm going to analyze how many defectives are there. Okay, what is the cause for defective? What is the reason for defective? How can we remove those defectives? So quality control means making an effort to remove defectives. Okay. Quality assurance, something of the present. Okay. Quality assurance, something of the present. what we are going to do, you have found out the things which are there, which are creating problems and creating defectives. So here we are going to talk about putting systems in place. Putting systems in place so that we can ensure that the new systems which are created, which are designed, they prevent the defectives to ensure that changes in production techniques or maybe some changes which are required in the machines or repairs to machines have been done, are done to ensure, to assure quality, quality assurance. So putting systems in place to assure quality management is something related to future, and that is continuous improvement. Continuous improvement. Kaizen costing, I told you, continuous improvement. Every day, 1% improvement as compared to the previous day. Small changes, small improvements on a day-to-day basis, which will help in bringing about better quality products in the future. Right? So, continuous improvement. That is your quality management. So, quality control, quality assurance, and quality management. Fine. This is about concept of quality. Suppose you are asked cost of quality. We have already done that. Cost of quality. What is the cost of quality? Cost of conformance, cost of non-conformance. Cost of conformance, prevention, and appraisal functions. Cost of non-conformance, we have done internal failure cost, external failure cost. That is also part of PPM, because there also we are talking about quality. Okay. Now, what are the things that we need to do? What are the steps which we need to do for total quality management? Okay. So let us check that. Steps of total quality management. Steps of PQM. Or you can say, what is the procedure involved in the total quality management process? First, I would look at customer groups or consumer groups. This is to find out who are my target customers. Who are my target customers? To whom am I selling the product? Who is the target customer? Whether it is children, whether it is adults, whether it is senior citizens, whether it is only one type of population, like male population, or is it only the female population, or are the target customers students and college students or school students? Like this. I want to know what is my target customer. Who is my target customer? Customer group for whom I'm going to manufacture. Right? Second, once I know the customer group, the second thing what to do? Customer expectations. Customer expectations. What are needs of customer? What are problems faced by customer? Not only needs, but we have to look at problems also. What are problems faced by customers? And how to solve the problem with our product. Right? So initially, when there were no calculators, we used to count on our fingers. Big calculations used to write on paper and calculate. But then to simplify that, we found that, okay, the manufacturer found that, Casio found that, people are suffering because they are calculating big numbers by taking a lot of time in calculation. So they developed calculators. Product comes into existence to ensure that the customer does not suffer or the customer benefits. Customer's life becomes more comfortable. Right? Then instead of writing on the paper where everybody's handwriting will be like crow's legs, what they did, they introduced typewriter. Laptops and the computers came into existence afterwards. The first thing that came into existence was typewriter. So the ease of getting everything formatted and printed and everything was done. Then you have laptops to further simplify. So like that, what are the problems faced by customers? So that the problem, if it can be solved by my product, I will manufacture the product. So needs of customers, problems faced by customers, what are the expectations of customers? Okay, so customer expectations. Third thing that I have to look at is product utility. Product utility. Whether it satisfies the requirements of customers. Whether it satisfies the requirements of the customers, whether it is functioning as per the requirement of the customer. Calculators, for example. I used to tell you when you are in Interc, calculations or FM, I require calculators where GT function should be there. Because calculators are of different types. You have simple calculators, you have financial calculators. Simple calculators, there are some calculators without the GT function, some are with GT function. So what is my expectation? What is my requirement? That requirement should be there on the product. If not, if I want to do some calculations where GT function is required and the GT function is not there, you give me a big calculator also with no GT function, it's of no use to it. So is it satisfying the requirements of customers? Utility of the product. Next one. Comparison, or what is it called? Benchmarking. We will not call it as comparison, we call it as benchmarking. Competitors' products. What are the features which are there in the competitors' products which are not in mine? I am also manufacturing mobiles, my competitor is also manufacturing mobiles. Nokia and Samsung are both manufacturing mobiles. But what are the features in Samsung which is not there in Nokia? They have to develop. Whatever is not there in my competitor's product, I have to ensure that those features are there in my product. Because the customers are already enjoying my competitors' products. So what is not there, if I create, then they will come to. Right? So shoes are manufactured by everyone. But I'm looking for shoes which are comfortable to wear because I'm in the teaching profession. I have to stand for long hours. So leather shoes, hard sole shoes may not work for me. Temporary period of time it is okay. But if I'm standing for long hours, not okay for me. Leather shoes are not good for me. So then I will look for soft padded shoes. Even if it is leather shoes, the sole must be soft. So that when I'm standing for long hours, my feet doesn't hurt. That is my requirement. Now, everybody is manufacturing those types of shoes, normal common leather shoes. But one company may be manufacturing shoes which are having that soft padding. Okay, so you are catering to those features which are not there in the competitors. So I used to search for shoes. Now to my lectures, number of lectures have reduced, and now most of them are online lectures. But in the days, I was working from 5:45 in the morning first lecture to 9 o'clock in the night last lecture. So more than 12 hours I'm standing. So at that time, I never used to wear leather shoes, which are common leather shoes, no executive shoes, no. I used to wear shoes with some padding, and that was when Bata introduced this brand called Hush Puppies. So Hush Puppies was a brand introduced by Bata's, which was having that soft padding on the heel. So that keeps your heel comfortable. It doesn't, otherwise every faculty will have back problems, leg problems, because the heel is hard. Everything depends on the heel. So the specifications required by different professions, different people. Okay. So what is not there in the competitors' products, that particular feature should be there in my product, so that I will have additional customers. Fine. And then I have last stage of this is customer feedback. Customer feedback. What is this required for? Improvements in products. Improvements in products can be brought about from the feedback that I get from the customers. Okay. Any problem? All points are understood? Yes. So let us move on to, this is steps of treatment. Let us move on to dimensions of quality. What am I saying? Dimensions of quality. As I said, quality is something that is relative. It depends on the perspective of each customer. What is he looking for? What is the customer looking for? On that basis, we have dimensions of quality. So we can say one of the dimensions of quality will be performance. We come to each one of them. Second, we can say features. Third, we can say reliability. Fourth, I can say responsiveness. Fifth, I can say reputation. Sixth, I can say aesthetics. Seventh, I can say durability. And eighth, I can say service. Most of them are interrelated. Different names given for different expectations. These are different expectations. These are different standards. Different expectations, different standards, which people are looking out for. And on that basis, they are determining the quality, good quality, bad quality, on the basis of these particular factors. For some, performance is quality. You are performing, that's quality. You are not performing, that's no quality. Features, attractive features, attractive features. You know, sometimes I find the students which are in my class, different students are carrying different types of calculators, Casio and this and that. But some students' calculators are very interesting now. You know why? Because they are colored calculators. One student gets a pink calculator in the class. One student gets a green calculator in the class. So different colors. And you ask them, why you have purchased this? It looks attractive. Board with that black calculator. You want something different. So pink calculator, green calculator. Different types of colors. So features. Third is somebody is looking for reliability. Somebody is looking for reliability. And if the person is found of the, or if the product is found to be reliable, he says good quality. He doesn't look at any other features because he is looking at reliability. Right? Can you rely on the product? Any product that I purchase, for example, even you are purchasing a day-to-day food articles, vegetables, fruits, etc. You are purchasing from a particular vendor or from a particular supermarket. Why? Why you don't go to others? Because you feel that he is a reliable person. He will give you good quality products. He will not cheat you as far as price is concerned. Reliable person. Whenever you want, he will, even if he does not have it in stock, he will arrange it for you. Reliable person. So reliability. Fourth, responsiveness. I may teach good, I may not teach good, but when you ask me a doubt, I respond. You say, sir is very good. Why? Because you are not looking at the teaching quality, you are looking at the responsive quality. When I'm having a difficulty, when I'm having a doubt, is sir answering my question? Responsiveness. So you are looking at responsiveness as a quality. You are not concerned with my method of teaching or my style of teaching or whether you understand or not understand. When you are having a difficulty, you ask me a question, am I responding with reputation? The reputation of a person, that is quality. Okay? Aesthetics, the feel of it. The feel of it. Sometimes when you go to buy, let us say something simple as a shirt or a trouser or dress material, you may find two articles or two items similar in nature, but one cloth is a little bit fine texture, smooth. You'll go for that because the feel of that cloth is better. Cars, for example, cars, automobiles, aesthetics, feel of the car. Okay, so aesthetics, seventh, durability, whether it is long lasting or not. Okay, service, what type of service you are getting, after sales service, whether that is prompt. Okay, so dimensions of quality means what? Different aspects or different perspectives which people call as quality. If those features are there, they say product is of quality. That is why something that is called quality for me may not have quality for you. Something that is quality for you may not have quality for me. Because we are looking at different things. You may be looking at reliability as one of the features, I may be looking at durability as one of the features. When you purchase a calculator, you say that, sir, I want the calculator to work when I want in the examination. It should work, it should not conk off. Reliability. I am purchasing calculator because I want it for a long period of time. Durability. So different people look at quality from different angles. A friend of mine, used to say when we were going for CE classes, in Bombay, there is a class, I will not name the class. The faculty was very famous faculty, is no longer there. The faculty was good in teaching, excellent in teaching. So I used to like the faculty because he's got very good knowledge and is very good in teaching. Is able to convince and explain to the students. I used to love that faculty. My friend used to hate that faculty. Why? Because he never used to come on time. 6 o'clock lecture, he will come at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And he used to, my friend used to tell me, the sir is coming late and he is not apologizing also. So he says, late to chalega, let him come late, but let him say sorry because we are waiting now. Half an hour, not 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Half an hour to 1 hour. Students are waiting. 6 o'clock lecture, he will come at 7 o'clock. And the funny part was, I don't know whether I mentioned this to you in the class. When we were having articles, we used to run from our articles to reach for the lecture at 6 o'clock. So when all the students are running for the lecture, lecture is at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So when we are rushing from our different clients, sometimes our clients are far away from the class. So we had to leave early, and for that we had to take permission from sir. Sometimes our travel time was 1 hour. So for reaching the class at 6 o'clock, we used to start at 5 o'clock. If it is further than that, we have to start at 4:30 sometimes. So we have to get permission from sir. So after taking permission from sir, listening to his, the everyday, firing, We used to run from there, rush to the class, come to the class at 6 o'clock, panting, like that. We are panting and sitting in the class and find that sir is not there. 6:30 he will come. He's got a very good smile, beautiful smile. He'll come to the class with a big smile. Say hi students. And we forget everything. Sometimes he used to come at 7 o'clock also. That is permissible, but if we reach late and he reaches early, then he will not allow us in the class. He will make us stand outside. That is the worst part of it. If we say, nah, okay, sir is regularly late here, he never comes before 6:30. 6 o'clock lecture, 6:30. We used to, initial experience. Used to come at around say at 6:30, 6:45. And our bad luck, he comes at 6 o'clock and starts the lecture. And then he will punish us outside. My friend used to hate him. This is a rule should be same for everybody, student and faculty. The faculty is coming late and we are permitting him to take lecture, then we come late, he should permit us in the class. So that was, that was quality for my friend. But that rule is not maintained same for both of us, and he comes late and whatever his teaching is, I don't like him because he's wasting my time. So quality has got different things for different people. That is what is dimension of quality. Dimension of quality. Okay. Next thing that we come to is the concept of this entire total quality management. TQM was developed by Deming. And who is Deming? We call him as father of quality management. Okay. What he said, what is the philosophy of Deming? Philosophy of Deming. You have to know a little bit of Deming also. Because he is the one who designed TQM. He said that poor quality, why does it arise? Whenever there is a quality, whenever there is a product with a poor quality, we blame the workers that they are resulting in poor quality. He said that on analysis, he found that 15% times, 15% of the time, poor quality is because of workers. But 85% of the time, poor quality is because of poor management, poor processing facilities. Okay. So, he used to say, don't criticize workers because workers are not at fault. Your production process, there is a fault. Your management process, there is a fault. Your planning process, there is a fault. So 85% of the time, the poor quality product is because of poor management and poor process. So he never used to blame the workers. He used to say that don't blame the workers, they are not the reason. Worker puts raw material into the production process. He is told that this raw material goes into this particular process. He will put it. He is not at fault. Your raw material is defective. How can he be held responsible? Your production process is resulting in defective products. How can you hold the worker responsible? So he said that don't blame the workers for defectives. Because 85% of the time the defectives are because of poor management, because of poor processing. So do not create problems for workers, do not remove workers, do not punish workers because of their non-performance of poor performance. They are not the reasons. Okay. And now Deming has created, there are awards which we call as Deming Prize. Any company which is, implementing the TPM system in their organization and they get results, they are given this Deming Prize. It's an award. Like you have best company award, best industry award, like that. You have got what is called as a Deming Prize, which is given only to those companies which are implementing the TQM system and also getting the results, positive results and benefiting. In India, one of the companies which is very consistent in getting this prize is JSW. Okay, JSW steel plant, which is in Salem, Tamil Nadu. And the other company which has recently got this is Larsen and Toubro, L&T. So in India, these are the two companies which have up till now been awarded with the Deming Prize. One is the JSW plant in Salem, that is in Tamil Nadu, and one is the L&T, that is Larsen and Toubro. The first individual, the one and only individual in India who has got this Deming Prize. This is a company. JSW and L&T are companies. There is one individual who has got this Deming Prize. Can you name me the individual? He's a very famous personality. Rather, he was a very famous personality. Who's the person, individual who has got this Deming Prize?
Ratan Tata, sir.
He's a South Indian. He was the boss of TVS Industries. TVS Lunas are there, two-wheelers. TVS Motors. Very famous person. TVS boss. Who is that? General knowledge. Venu Srinivas. The one and only individual who has got this is of the TVS boss. Venu Srinivas, who has got this Deming Award. Any difficulty? So, we have come to the person who has defined the TQM and who has implemented TQM, that is Deming, the father of quality management. We will learn more about it. We will learn more things that he has come out with. We will take a small break here. It's 10:52 on my watch. We'll take a 10 minutes break. Okay, so that means at about 11:02, I will start the lecture. Right. 11:02, I'll take it 11:05. 11:05 will start it. Break for 10 minutes. So, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Let's come to the book that we have got here. And let us see what all things we have covered, what all things you need to do. Now look at the definition. Total quality management definition we are going to do now. SEMA defines TQM as integrated and a comprehensive system of planning and controlling, okay, of business function so that products or services produced which meet or exceed customer expectations. All this we have done in the analysis of those three words, total quality and management. Integrated process, total planning and controlling management. Meet or exceed customer expectations, quality. So that is total quality management for you. Okay. So PQM is a philosophy of business behavior, embracing principles such as employee involvement, continuous improvement. I've told you continuous improvement. That was quality management. At all levels, this is important, at all levels, total and customer focus, as well as being a collection of related techniques aimed at improving quality, such as full documentation of activities, clear goal setting and performance measurement from customers' perspective. And what are these activities that we are talking about? Quality control, quality assurance, quality management. So that is your definition of PQM, which we took at least 45 minutes to explain, to understand, right? So until and unless you understand that entire thing that we have done, you will not be able to understand this definition. So it is important that we know that it is an integrated process which involves everyone in the organization, right from top to bottom. Integrated and comprehensive, totality. Planning and controlling, all the functions of management are involved in this. And the focus is to meet or exceed customer expectations, to maintain quality. With what? With the different activities like quality control, quality assurance, quality management. Okay. The basic principles of PQM we can just go through. Now we come to next most important thing. That is 6 C's of PQM. Important theory question. I told you it will come as either a case study or a theory question. So if it is coming as a theory question, what they can ask you? The 6 C's of PQM. So now you have to learn each one of them, and a little bit you should be able to write also when you are asked the question on the 6 C's of PQM. You have commitment, culture, continuous improvement, cooperation, control, and customer requirements. So these are the 6 C's. Commitment, the first one. PQM culture is to be developed, and total quality improvement must become normal part of everyone's job. A clear-cut commitment from the top must be provided. Okay. So a clear-cut commitment from the top. That is, until and unless it has been approved and implemented by the top management, we will not get its support from the lower management. If the top people itself, they are not serious about implementation of quality, then nobody in the organization, you can expect them also to think about quality, right? Without this, all other efforts will fail. It is not sufficient to delegate quality issues to a single person, since this will not provide an environment for changing attitudes. You cannot say that only the production manager is responsible for maintaining quality. Why? Every person in the organization is responsible for maintaining quality. The purchase department, when they are deciding who's the supplier going to be, they must have taken into consideration quality considerations of raw material. So they are responsible for quality. Achha, goods are not delivered on time. Who's responsible? Production manager is not responsible. So you can't hold him responsible for entire quality of the product or the delivery of the product. Raw materials are not reaching on time. Not production manager's fault. So every person in the organization must be held responsible, must be held accountable. You have to not give one person the responsibility and fix the responsibility on one particular individual or one particular department. It is total responsibility. Second is culture. So in the organization, first of all, commitment must be there. Everyone in the organization must be committed to the same quality standards, same ethics, same process, same culture. Culture lies at training lies at the center of effecting a change in culture and attitudes. Negative perceptions must be changed to encourage individual contributions. Many times in the organization, you may feel, you are going to a boss with a particular problem. There is a particular issue, and you are approaching your boss and telling the boss, boss, this is the problem I'm facing. Tell me what to do. He will drive you out of the cabin. He said, don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions. I'll say, Arey, what is he talking about? If I have the solution, why will I go to him? But that is actually what the boss wants. That if you have a problem, learn to remove the solution. Okay, you don't have the right to implement the solution, then go to the boss and tell the boss, sir, this is the problem that I'm facing. I think that this can be the solution of this. Go with the problem and solution. I think this is a solution for it. Can we implement it? This is how you have to approach your boss. Don't always take problems to the boss, because boss has got his own individual responsibilities. Like that, if every employee in the company goes to the boss with their problems for him to solve, he will be only solving their problems, not solving anything of the company. So remember, as an article also, never go to your boss with a problem. Go to the boss with problem and a solution, and tell him, sir, this is the solution. I think that this is the solution that we can bring to this problem that I'm facing. Do you approve of it? That should be the culture, right? So culture is not to have any negative attitudes. Don't go with the problem. Don't go with a negative aspect. Go with a positive aspect. This can be solved. This can be done with it. This is how I'm going to solve it. Problem with solution. Continuous improvement. C, continuous improvement. And what is most important sentence is this one. TQM is a process, not a program. What is the difference? You have annual day program in your college. Does it go for the full year? One day of the year. Rose day. Do you give roses to everybody in the college all throughout the day, all throughout the year, 12 days, 12 months in a year? Cultural day. One day. So it's a program. It's an event. It's not there for the entire 12 months. What is there in the entire 12 months in your college? Studying, teaching, learning. That is a process. That is a process. So TQM is not a one-day event or a one-day program. TQM is a process that is continuous. That is not a one-day program or a one-day event. TQM is a process, continuous process. That is why I say Kaizen costing. Okay, small improvements every day. Kaizen costing. Next one. Next one is cooperation. Next C is for cooperation. On the job experience of all employees must be fully utilized. Experience of employees must be fully utilized. And their involvement and cooperation sought in the development of improving strategies. We normally say that plans and policies of the business cannot be top-down approach. It should be bottom-to-top approach. Planning should be involving the lower level management also, because until and unless you involve them in the planning process, they are not going to help you to implement the process, right? So application of total employee involvement. So what can happen is that, when you're working in the factory, an employee may come and give you suggestion. Sir, machinery breakdown is taking place frequently or regularly. Do this thing. He will give you a solution. So do this thing. All these problems will be solved. And he may have experience more than you, because you are a production manager. You are sitting in your cabin, but he is actually working with the machines. So he knows the machines better than you. You have got book knowledge of machine. You have seen the machine picture in the book, and you have learned the features of the machine in the book. You have learned the advantages and disadvantages from the book, mechanical engineering book, textbook. But he has actually worked with the machine, so he knows the machine much better than you. Followed. So it means that the employees can give you some valuable suggestions. They are not to be thrown away. You have to ask them to cooperate. You have to ask them to give suggestions. Make yourself open to suggestions. Take the cooperation of employees. Invite them to give suggestions. So as where I'm working now, and I was working earlier also, employees who are there below me, I used to come and tell them, first I used to have a meeting with all of them and tell them that, look here, I am not your boss. I'm just here to solve your problems. You have a problem, you got the solution, come to me, we will discuss it, we will solve it. Don't get frightened to approach me. I'm always, my cabin is open. So, inviting the people for their cooperation, you cannot work individually. You have to work with your team. So, you have to work with your team. You have to invite the suggestions from your team members, from your associates. The next E, in fact, the most important C is your customer focus. Needs of the customer are the driving force. Why you are manufacturing? Because customers' requirements are there. Why you are adding those features? Because customer requires those features. They are not external customer, but also internal customer, which we are going to learn. Internal customer departments in your same organization. The output of one process versus input of the next process. The next process is your customer. So sometimes there are industries where output of the first process can be sold in the open market. And input for the second process can be purchased from the local market. So there may be a situation where your next process, your next department itself is your customer, is buying from you. Or your branch may be buying from the head office, or one branch may be buying from the other branch. Possible. So when you are having that, customer is not only the external customer, it may be the internal customer within your organization. Customer focus. So for that, what do we require to have? Zero defects. Perfect service with zero defects is all that is acceptable at internal as well as external levels. Okay. Next one is C for control. Documentation. How do you control the activities? Now, one manager was another manager. How does he know how to control? Documentation. You will look at the things which are done by the previous manager, which are recorded, which are there in the documents. That is why in audit also we maintain what is called as audit working papers. Right? Audit working papers, audit notes, they are important. Because suppose you go on leave and somebody else takes over your job, they should know to what extent you have completed, what were the methods and techniques that you have employed, so that they can carry on from there. So all this is to be documented. That is why I insist that you prepare the audit notes, you prepare your working papers. Right? So documentation, procedures, awareness of current best practices are essential if TQM implementations are to function appropriately. So these are the 6 C's of TQM. Then we have got 4 P's of quality improvement principles. 4 P's. What are the 4 P's? One is people, second is process, third is problem, and fourth is preparation. Go through them also. Now, all this has been devised by Deming. As I told you, Deming is the father of, Edward Deming is the father of quality management. So, this Deming cycle is very important for you. Deming cycle is important for you. And the 4 activities that he has done: plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act. So that is a continuous cycle, a continuous improvement cycle. Let us see that. So Deming cycle, also known as PDCA cycle. PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, act. P for plan, D for do, C for check, and A for act. Okay, those are the 4 activities that he has defined. Let us come to the 4 activities. The first one, plan. The planning phase involves current process or a new process and figuring out how it can be improved. Knowing what types of output are desired helps to develop a plan to fix or improve the process. It is often to plan smaller changes during the phase of the plan so that they can be easily monitored and the outputs are more predictable. Easily monitored, outputs are more predictable. That is your planning phase. Second is do. You have to write it in the same order. The do phase allows the plan, that is why it is called PDCA cycle. Plan, do, check, act. Do phase allows the plan to be implemented. Enacted means implemented. Small changes are usually tested and data is gathered to see how effective changes. Next is check. After implementation, check whether it is working, not working. Plans may not be working to your requirements. You may have to bring about some changes in the plans. You may need to sometimes replace the entire plan with a new plan. So during the check phase, the data and the results gathered are evaluated. What is evaluated? Data is evaluated, results are evaluated. What you have implemented with the expectation that these results will come. What is your actual result? What is your actual output? Compare that. Data is compared to the expected outcomes to see any similarities and differences. Testing process is also evaluated to see if there were any changes from the original test created. If the data is placed in a chart, it can make it easier to see any trends if the PDA cycle is conducted multiple times. This helps to see what changes work better than others, and this changes can be improved as well. Okay. Last phase is act phase. If the check phase shows that the plan phase which was implemented in the do phase is an improvement to the prior standard, then that becomes a new standard. That means if your plan has succeeded in giving you better results, then that plan will replace the old plan. Okay. Instead, if the check phase shows that the plan phase which was implemented in the do phase is not an improvement, then the existing standard will remain in place. In either case, if the check phase showed something different than expected, whether better or worse, then there is some more learning to be done. And that will suggest potential future PDCA cycles. So we always say, no, if I win, it's positive. If I don't win, I never lose. Because if I don't win, I will learn something. That is a positivity. If I win, it is a positive fact. But if I don't win, it is not negative fact. If I don't win still, I have learned something from my past experience. Okay, so that is your PDC act. And then they say that one more A can be added to that. That is the adjust phase. Not necessary for you. That means 14 points on quality management they have asked in the past, but not 14. They will expect you to give minimum 6 to 8. Minimum 6 to 8 they will expect in the examination. So out of the 14 points given, at least try to remember 6 to 8 points. You can just go to this example. What they have said. Let us see. The first one is A Limited is going to introduce PQM in the company, state whether and why the following are valid or not valid for the successful implementation of PQM. First one, they are saying some departments serve both internal and external customers. These departments have been advised to focus on satisfying the needs of the external customers. That means some departments have been advised to focus on satisfying the needs of customers. Is it true? Answer is no. I've taught you now, not one or two, entire organization, total TQM, total quality management, and this entire organization, not one or two departments. One or two departments can't do anything. So it is an invalid statement. It's an invalid statement. You don't have to look at the answer also. So it is invalid as the TQM approach highlights the need for a customer-oriented approach. There may be external parties as well as internal parties such as managers, etc. All these need to be better informed, better equipped, and better served so that they will be able to serve the external parties properly. So the point is invalid. Second one, hold a training program at the beginning of a production cycle. to ensure implementation of TPM. Positive, possible, and it is done. Because if you want to implement the total quality management program, employees should be trained. It's valid. Implement management by objectives for faster achievement of TPM. What is management by objectives? Tell me. What is management by objectives? MBO. Akhilesh. MBO means what? What is the concept of MBO? Management by MBO, management by objectives means that you are having limited scope. Okay, you are having limited scope, and that is implemented in the organization on a limited scale for faster achievement of TPM. Answer is not well, not correct. Because you can't have management by objectives. So yeah, invalid. For implementation of TPM, management by objectives should be eliminated, as targets of production will encourage the delivery of poor quality products. You are setting them objectives, you are setting them targets. And whenever you set targets for them, so much profit has to be earned by the business. There will be manipulation, there will be lot of miscalculations, and they will commit fraud. That is not what we want. Right? So management by objectives, by setting targets for them, will result in poor quality products. So if a person tells me SFM at final or SCMP at final or direct tax at final, CA final or CMA final should be done within 60 to 70 hours, I will not take up that coaching because it is not possible. Not possible. Not possible in the sense it is possible, but then I will have to sacrifice quality. I'll have to run through the course. Whether you understand, don't understand, I will have to go crash course sort of thing and complete the course. But SFM, you have seen, SCMP, you are seeing now, it cannot be rushed through because all the concepts are new to the student and the student has to get accustomed to the vocabulary, the terms, interpretation, and understand what is the question asked. So normally I take minimum, worst scenario, it is 100 hours. It sometimes goes beyond 100 hours, 120 hours. I am not constrained with time because the more I teach, the more the students understand, students benefit. Direct tax, so I take 250 hours. If everything has to be explained, 250 hours. You want me to cut down 200 hours? You tell me cut down below that, not possible. Because that much amount of practice is required. So this is something where quality is compromised. So you set a target for me that it has to be done within so much time, then I will have to compromise quality. So it should not be management by objectives. Okay. Fourth one. Appoint head of each department. Appoint head of each department as the person responsible. HOD is the person responsible to ensure improvement strategies and performance measures. False. Invalid. Because one person, I told you, one person, one department cannot be held responsible. Total quality management means what? Everybody is responsible from top to bottom. Okay. So fourth one, invalid. Fourth one, invalid. Fifth one, eliminate wastage of time by avoiding documentation and procedures. No, because just now we have said one of the C's, we have said no. One of the C's we have said that documentation has to be done. Control, documentation, procedure, awareness of current best practice has to be done. You can't say it is a wastage of time. It has to be done. Okay. So whenever there is, this they are saying eliminate a wastage of time. It is not wastage of time. Avoiding documentation, not the correct method. So it is an invalid proposition because you have to maintain proper documentation for control. Right? So, like this kind of question comes for 4 to 5 marks in the examination. Simple question on PQM only, but they may not ask you explain the 6 principles. They will ask you a simple question like this. Because here I can grill you on the concepts, whether you have understood the basics of PQM. That is why I took about 40-45 minutes to explain those 3 words because of these type of questions. 6 principles, the 6 C's you will be able to write, 4 P's you will be able to write. But if conceptual questions are asked, you should know the underlying concept. That is right. Total, I told you what is total. Quality, I told you what is quality. Management, I told you what is management. So all these things, all these 6 questions are based on those particular aspects. And this type of questions we can expect more frequently in the examination because we are having concepts tested. By the way, your CA final is undergoing some changes. If you have heard about it, SCMP is going to be scrapped from the syllabus from 2023, I think, and law is not going to be there in CA final. So law will be eliminated. Out of 8, you will have only 6 papers. SCMP will be combined with the electives, along with the electives. And I think direct taxation, they are planning for open book exam. Direct taxation. And articleship is going to be reduced to 2 years. And CA final exam can be given only after 6 months of completion of articleship. So these things they are bringing into effect from 2023 mostly. The proposal is there, it has to be accepted, passed, and then implemented. But I don't think it is applicable for it because you have already taken admission and you are in the process. So it will be for the new batch. So one of my subject is short term. Area of constraints are done. Good accounting has been done. So I think I've done most of the things. One more point is to be taught. Where is that? Supply chain management. Again, a theoretical question, SCM. Supply chain management network, I've told you everything. Now, what is important here, I will tell you. The supply chain, I'll show you this. Starts from the supplier. Starts from the supplier. Transporter input, that means from supplier to my factory. Then manufacturer, that is myself. Then transporter output, that means when I'm dispatching my goods to my customers or my wholesalers or my godowns or warehouses. Then branch, wholesaler, retailer, and then finally the customer. So this is the entire supply chain. Basic concepts you have to know here: responsiveness, reliability, 3 R's, relationships. Okay, 3 R's of SCM, that is supply chain management. Firms must be able to supply their customers quickly and on time. This has led to JIT systems. Reliability, the deliveries must be reliable, because if you want to have a JIT system, your supplier must be a reliable person. But otherwise, when the demand comes and you don't have the raw materials to produce, then you will not be able to meet the demand. Relationships, responsiveness demands that members of the supply chain develop a high degree of mutual understanding of each other's methods and trust in each other's ability to supply. Okay, so these 3 R's, responsiveness, reliability, and relationships, are the basic concepts of supply chain management. What is important here, actually? They will ask you, short note down, upstream and downstream flow of activities. Okay, so what is an upstream flow of activity? Upstream supply chain usually deals with suppliers, purchasers, and production lines. The up part, the upper part, the starting part, supplier logistics, that is purchase logistics, and production lines, your factory. Companies, regardless of their size and business sectors, all have to rely on suppliers. It can be related to purchasing of raw materials, transport services, logistics, which is involved for bringing those raw materials up to your factory. office equipment or fully finished products. What is a downstream? Downstream is from your production facility to the customer, latter part. So if I'm going about this now, if I showed you the diagram here, see the diagram also. So from here to here, from here to here, this is your upstream flow, and this entire thing becomes your downstream flow. Right? So upstream is made up of supplier, transporter for bringing in the raw materials and your manufacturing facilities. From your manufacturing facilities to customer, the entire logistics which is involved there, that is a part of your downstream flow of activities. So you have to put it in words now. Once you have understood the diagram, now you have to put it in words. Downstream supply chain on the other end covers the whole selling segment, output, distribution, including negotiations, after sales service, recycling, is downstream from the assembling plant, that is distributors, wholesalers and retailers. All strive to carry inventory in quantities needed to fulfill customer orders without overstock. When operations are running smoothly, the distributors ship orders on time. When an order cannot be completed in a timely manner, it is called stock out and activity stalls. Now, this word will come in one of your problems. Sorry. The word stock out will come in one of your problems. So what is a stock out? Stock out is where you don't have sufficient raw materials for production, or you don't have sufficient output of finished goods for sale. Okay. Another downstream activity is customer service in the retail store when the product finally reaches the customer. So this is one short note that is important. The second short note that is important is the push and pull strategy. Push and pull strategy. Very popularly asked, very commonly asked in the examination. See, terms are there, but if you go through the concepts, it is something which you have already done. But now your knowledge has to be put into a particular heading. Like for example, what is a push supply chain? It means that in simple words, before I go into the technical part, in simple words, it means what? Production in anticipation of demand. Production in anticipation of demand. So if you ask me to summarize this push supply, I will say that this is nothing but production in anticipation of demand. Means what? That I don't know what is the demand in the market. I will start production. After production, I will do advertising, mass advertising. Okay, mass advertising. I'll bombard the entire market with my advertisements, with my marketing specialists, and then I will push the product of my company in the market. I will push it, literally I will push it in the market by my advertising campaigns and induce people to buy my product. That is a push supply chain. Okay, now you ask me what is a pull supply chain. How to summarize this? I'll say nothing. It is as simple as JIT. Just in time. Wait for the customer to place order. After he places order, then I contact my supplier to send raw materials. Then I start my production. And immediately within 24 to 48 hours, I give the delivery also. JIT. What is JIT? Pull supply chain. I'm pulling the demand. Okay. Demand comes and pulls my goods out. So let us now see whether we are correct. Under push supply chain, the logistics are driven by long-term projections of customer demand. For example, at the end of the summer season, clothing brands start to manufacture warm clothes. Not in India, in foreign countries. For us in India, after summer comes monsoon. This type of planning becomes valuable to companies as it helps them to plan for events in the future and be prepared when winter comes. This helps the companies meet their demands in time. That means I'm producing before the production, before the season only. So before the winter comes, I start my manufacturing of woolen garments so that when winter comes, I can push my product into the market. So this helps the companies to meet their needs in time and also gives them time to figure out other logistics like storage facilities, etc. What is a full supply chain? Under full supply chain, the process of manufacturing and supply is driven by actual customer demand. Actual customer demand. Which means that customer will first place the order. So I come to know how many units are to be manufactured, and I manufacture just that much quantity only. So in this type of supply chain logistics, inventory is acquired on a need basis. The benefits of this type of planning include less wastage in the case of lower demand. The problem, however, is that company may not have enough inventory to meet the rising demands due to unforeseen factors. If there is a sudden demand, I may not have enough supplies because I'm going on just-in-time basis. In real life, no business can rely entirely on push or pull logistics, but instead employ a mixture of the two to make the best use of it. Okay, so either a question on push and pull supply, or they will ask a question on upstream and downstream flow. Take any question paper, this has come somewhere or the other in the question examination. Those short notes. Fine. So that completes my chapter number 2. All the questions have been done. All case studies have been done. So I complete my second chapter. Now I come to the third chapter. Third chapter, as you have learned a lot of new things in the second chapter also. This third chapter will bring more new things to your knowledge. In the sense that we are talking about JIT system now. That means something new that we are going to do in the CA final, which we have not done at the inter level. So lean system and innovation. Now, especially now, in the modern scenario, in the modern context, every business is trying to cut cost in different ways. Cutting the cost, reducing the cost in different ways. For example, after COVID, companies have realized that you need not have a swanky office for your employees. Half of the employees can be kept at home and they can work from home. So you have to provide space for only the remaining half who actually have to come and do desk work at your company's office. So now they are thinking why we are having such huge spaces. 2000 square feet, 1500 square feet, why we require? They'll operate in 1000 square feet or maybe less than that, 800 square feet. Limited number of employees, right? Limited number of employees. Remaining employees stay at home and work. If the need arises, these employees will go home, those employees will go. So at the time, I will not have all employees in my office. I'll have only 50% of my employees. Cost cutting. The rent that you are paying for such huge spaces, that is cut down. So companies are now thinking of different ways of cutting down the cost of operational costs and earning more profits. Because now the scenario is very bad. After this Ukraine-Russia war, the inflation has taken place so much all over the world. In fact, India is a little bit insulated because we are getting the help of Russia in the form of oil imports and other things. But otherwise, it's a very bad scenario. In America, the inflation rate is high, so high that it has not seen those inflation rates for the past 40, 50 years. The same, Europe is worst. Europe is literally gone bankrupt because they have got nothing now. They are totally, their oil supplies are stopped. So because of that, there's total panic because everything in Europe was oil driven and that was imported from Russia. Russia has stopped. So everywhere inflation is taking place and people are talking about recession now. People are talking about recession. Forget about cost cutting. They are directly talking about recession. Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Tesla, owner of Tesla, and the person who started thinking of taking over Twitter. He has cut down 10% of his employees in Tesla. Latest news. Go to the website, you'll find 10% employees cut. Why? Because he's feeling that there is going to be tremendous recession in America. So now only he has started. 10% of the employees are laid off. What is going to happen in future, nobody knows. But there is going to be recession. Inflation is going to be skyrocketing. More for the Western countries. Impact will be there for India also, but not as high. Now itself, you go to the market to buy vegetables. Nothing is costing less than 80 rupees, 80, 90 rupees per kilo. Per kilo. The only cheapest item in the market is onions, available at 20 rupees or 70 rupees. Why I know these things? Because I'm going to purchase. I go to purchase all these things from the market. Okay. So now, since I'm going to office regularly, wife tells me on the way you pick up some onions and come. On the way you pick up some tomatoes and come. So I know the prices of the vegetables. So nothing less than 80 rupees. Tomatoes are, I think, 89 rupees, 89 plus. So inflation is going to be skyrocketing. So every company is thinking of cost cutting, how to reduce the cost. That is making their organization lean. Lean means slim and thin, without any wastage. So lean system and innovation. How to have a lean system with innovation, right? So waste minimization. It is an organized method. You can see here. It is an organized method for waste minimization without sacrificing productivity, reducing the cost without affecting quality. Within a manufacturing system, lean implementation emphasizes the importance of optimizing workflow through strategic operational procedures while minimizing waste and being adaptable. It is an approach to running an organization that supports the concept of continuous improvement in a long-term approach to work that systematically seeks to achieve small incremental changes on a regular basis to improve efficiency and quality. It seeks to eliminate any wastage of time, effort, or money by identifying each step in the business process and then revising or cutting out steps that do not create any value. So again, we go back to the value chain analysis. So this is a point of value chain analysis. So all topics are interrelated. As I told you in the beginning, all topics are interrelated. So case studies, when they come, they have a lot of topics combined. So value chain analysis. Coming down to the 5 lean principles. Very important. 5 lean principles. Important. The first one in that is define value. What is value? From whose point of view? Customer's point of view. What is value for the customer? And we have seen different dimensions of quality. So those same points you can write there also. Value for a customer. He is willing to pay value, or he is willing to pay money for what? Features of the product, reliability. Okay, so what particular dimension is looking at? Value is what the customer is willing to pay. What the customer is willing to pay. Okay, that means we are concerned with what gives value to the customer, what gives satisfaction to the customer. It is of paramount importance to know what they want or are unable to articulate it. This is especially common when it comes to novel products or technologies. There are many techniques of defining value or techniques of finding out value. Interviews, surveys, demographic information, web analytics that can help you to decipher and discover what customers find valuable. By using these qualitative and quantitative techniques, you can uncover what customers want, how they want the product or service to be delivered, and the price that they can afford. Okay, so defining what is value from the customer's point of view is the first of the 5 lean principles of management. Second is mapping the value stream. Once you define what is going to add value to the customer, then come back to value chain analysis. What you are going to come back to? Value chain analysis. So that means what you are going to do? You will analyze the supply chain. Analyze the supply chain. So what is value chain analysis? Entire supply chain. You are trying to find out what activities add a value to the business, what activities don't add value to the business. That means you are dividing the activities into value added activities and non-value added activities. Non-value added activities further to be classified as non-value added but essential, but necessary, and non-value added not necessary. Non-value added which is necessary, will minimize it, will keep it to the minimum. And non-value added which is not necessary, you have to eliminate, you have to cut it off totally. Right? So what you are going to do? You are going to identify activities that do not add value to the end customer. The wastage can be broken up into two categories: non-value added but necessary, and non-value added and unnecessary, not necessary, waste. The latter is pure waste. That is non-value, is pure waste, should be eliminated, while the former should be reduced as much as possible. Non-value added but necessary, reduced as much as possible. By reducing and eliminating unnecessary processes or steps, you can ensure that customers are getting exactly what they want, while at the same time reducing the cost of producing the product or service. So first is defining what is value to the customer. You have to go in the same order. Don't change the order. You will not get marks. First is defining what is going to add value to the customer. After you know what is going to be value added activity, come to the value chain, supply chain, and do value chain analysis. By identifying activities and classifying them into two categories: value added and non-value added. Non-value added necessary, minimize. Non-value added not necessary, eliminate. Okay. Third step is creating the flow. Creating the flow. Now, what I would suggest here to remember this as throughput account or theory of constraints. After removing the waste from the value stream, the following action is to ensure that the flow of the remaining steps runs smoothly without interruptions or delay. Means what? Theory of constraints. See if there are any constraints in the production process. Eliminate the constraints. That is what creating the flow. Ensuring that value-added activities flow smoothly. Breakdown steps, reconfiguration of the production steps. That is, if there is any constraint, remove that constraint. Leveling out the workload, creating cross-functional departments and training employees to be multi-skilled and everything. In other words, trying to remove all restrictions in the business, in the manufacturing process, creating a smooth flow of production process without any constraints. That is your theory of constraints applicable. Last one is establish the pull. Establish the pull. The word is pull. GIT system. Whenever I say pull system, it is a GIT system. Inventory is considered to be one of the biggest waste in production. Remember this, because that consumes a lot of cost, storage cost, insurance cost, right? So inventory is creating a huge cost. The goal of a pull-based system is to limit inventory and work in progress items while ensuring that requisite materials and information are available. In other words, it allows for just-in-time delivery. And manufacturing where products are created at the time that they are required and in just quantities that they are required. Pull-based systems are always created from the needs of the end customers. Okay. By following the value stream and working backwards through the production system, we can ensure that products produced will be able to satisfy the needs of the customers. The last one, we have pursue perfection. Wastes are prevented through the achievement of the first 4 steps. First four steps, defining the value. Second step is to find out the entire value stream and try to divide the activities value added, non-value added, eliminate the non-value added items which are not necessary, creating a smooth flow and establishing the pull factor, that is the GIT system. However, the fifth step of pursuing perfection is the most important among them. It makes lean thinking and continuous process improvement a part of the organization. Every employee strives towards perfection while delivering products based on customer needs. Company should be a learning organization and always find ways to get a little better each day. Little better each day means what? Continuous improvement. Continuous improvement leads to something called as, what did we call it as? Kaizen cost. So get familiar with these terms, use these terms in your answers. It will be helpful for you, right? So we have done the 5 lean principles also. Defining the value, that is the first one. Mapping the value stream, that is the supply chain. Analyzing the supply chain. Classifying activities into value added, non-value added. Creating the flow, removing restrictions, removing the constraints, creating a smooth flow of production. Establishing the pull factor, trying to reduce the inventory, implement the GIT inventory system, okay, where you are manufacturing once you receive the order from the customers, the pull section, that is the pull supply. And last one is Kaizen costing, that is continuous improvement in small quantities on a regular basis for better improvement and for growth of the organization. These are the 5 lean principles, right? So we'll continue tomorrow in the morning. Tomorrow morning's lecture will be at 7 o'clock. Okay. So we'll stop here for today. We'll continue this 8 ways of lean management tomorrow, and we'll take up some questions also. Happy Sunday. Enjoy.
Thank you, sir.